Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Gina. I've got a little magazine that was released apparently by RCA. It's RCA Records photo album. And there's nothing about Elvis's records or anything in it. It's strictly photos. So I found it on eBay, paid $55 for it. I thought, geez, a lot of money, but anyway. And then I looked a bit further, I found that it was selling for a lot more by other sellers, so I guess I got a bargain. It's got some great photos on, some black and white, some colour. I haven't got any music on in the background because this won't take long. Let's see, there's still a bit of glare, isn't there? Damn fluorescent lights, gee. Not much I can do about that. Anyway. And I want to talk about some other books that I've got that I want to eventually do a review of. So, silence in the background. Aren't they great photos? Look at that, and they're very clear. I don't know if it's going to show up on the film because of the glare from the fluorescent light, but beautiful, beautiful photos. That one's not too, it's different I suppose, but you're not really seeing his face. And that one, both of those are in shadow, but I guess for the effect, it's something a bit different. Same with that. Thanks, Elvis. Thank you, Elvis, for the pleasure you've given us. Yeah, one mark on the book, a bit of a rip and a bit of a sticky tape on there. It's a little bit marked down there, but other than that, yeah, I'm happy I got it. Now, that's that. Now, what I'm going to talk about now, just briefly, I've got several books that I've been reading, and I've had to probably read them over or dip into them a couple of times over and over again to try and take everything in. The first one I got of this genre was Elvis People, The Cult of the King by Ted Harrison. And I did do a brief review of this when I first got it. I think when I first got it, or when I started doing this channel and reviewing the books. The same guy, a few years later, wrote this one, The Death and Resurrection of Elvis Presley by Ted Harrison. A thorough examination of Elvis's cultural afterlife. Now, this is where I'm about halfway through it. Like I said, I've dipped into it, and I've been making notes about these books on a sheet of paper, the things that I want to discuss. And the more I get into it, the more fascinating it is. This one's called Elvis Religion, The Cult of the King by Gregory L. Reese. How can I say it? The idea behind these books is to talk about how the effect Elvis has had on the world, I guess, on people since he died. I mean, when he was alive, he was like anybody else. He made news, he made pictures, he made records, he had his ups and downs, peaks and troughs. There was, in the 50s, he was just as the most incredible thing that ever walked the earth. And then in the 60s, making movies, and there were mixed opinions. His fans loved him anyway, as I did. I didn't care his movies, I just loved them all. I just loved seeing him on the screen and hearing him sing. But yeah, I recognise that the movies weren't, brilliant. And in the 70s, he hit the stage and he did the comeback special and, the Aloha special. And he proved once again that he was just the top in his field of entertainment. And then he died. And, you can say, well, I wonder what would have happened if he had have lived. Well, we can all conjecture about that. But what these books talk about is that the effect that after he died, how he's become an even bigger phenomenon in death than he was in alive. He's sold more records now since he died than what he did when he was alive. And his records, I mean, he's not here to sing anymore, but they are repackaged, reproduced, they are changed, they are altered. And people, fans, just keep on snapping them up. And you go into record bars and you've got young fans or young people going in there, younger than the people, I mean, like me and most of you who were alive when he was alive, buying his records, snapping them up, watching his movies. Not so much the movies, the young ones probably don't like the movies as much as we did, but when they see the TV shows, especially younger people on YouTube who do these what do they call them? Not recreations. There's a word for it. They look at a movie or a videotape of Elvis or of any singer, and they talk about it. Reaction. That's what reaction videos. Yeah. And the reaction of some of the younger people seeing Elvis on the Ed Sullivan Show, on the Dorsey Show, and when he was younger, and they're just blown away by his charisma and by his looks and everything, his voice, the whole lot. So he's, in one way, he didn't die, did he? He did physically die, but he's still alive. His spirit seems to be here, and it seems to be going on and on. And these books are saying, in essence, that what is being created over a period of time is a kind of religion, not like a Christian religion, but more of I suppose you might say, a pagan religion. I mean, for eternity, men and women, people, humans, have worshipped gods of some kind. I mean, you go back into Greek and Roman history, and they had their various gods. And then, as in the 19th and 20th centuries, people became famous through the media, as it was then, and well known. You became sports people, film stars, Rudolph Valentino, Frank Sinatra, and so on. They had their followers, and they became a sort of a cult thing for a while. But none of them have lasted, well, not in recent times, none of them have lasted as long as Elvis did. And the books go into what it was about Elvis that made him different. And I've been reading these books, and I've been thinking a lot about it and what it is about him that me, at my age, 76, when I fell in love with him at 12 years old, watching the old blues as a teenager, just adored him. And then I saw him in concert, and wow, I was blown away. And then I left my husband, married Ken, and there was nothing in Elvis in my life. I thought, well, the guy's dead and gone now, so there's nothing else. So forget about him and move on. Because it wasn't like that in real life, was it, in Elvis times? He was still around for a lot of his fans. But I rediscovered him, and I'm just crazy about him, more so than I ever was. What is it? The music, I play his records, I listen to them in a different way. I appreciate them more than I ever did, I think. I can look at his movies. Some of them don't grab me, but the minute he appears on the screen, I think, oh wow, he was just so good looking. And he definitely had a charisma, and all the people that met him said that, even me, for that short few seconds when he walked past us to get onto the stage in San Francisco. Before he even came into our vision, you knew he was coming. There was some sort of a visible or an invisible presence, and then he walked into our view, and then he was hopped up to the stage, and it was just, you were touched by magic. And so Elvis didn't like being, I know he didn't like being called king, and he certainly didn't like people saying he was some kind of supernatural being from another planet or whatever else. But Jesus, when he was walking the earth, did he really know he was the Son of God at that time? Maybe he did, I don't know. But what about Buddha, Mohammed, all the other religious icons? Did they know they were special? Back in those days, possibly yes, but in our age, in the 20th and 21st centuries, it's a different world altogether. We know so much more about everything, thanks to the media, than humans ever did. So we're aware of more. And I think with Elvis, if he was sent by God or a higher power to bring love and joy and everything else on the earth, he wouldn't have been, how can I say it? God wouldn't have let him know that, because you can develop a huge ego and thinking, well, I'm special, I'm God's son, I've been sent here by God, I'm an angel. So Elvis was only allowed to believe that he was just a man. But the things he did while he was here, never mind about all these love affairs and everything else like that, he was still a human being. But the compassion he showed for people, the compassion and love he showed for his fans, not just his fans, people crippled and disabled people. Pretty much all through his life. And his parents, Vernon, used to say that when he was a kid, he gave away his toys to kids that were poorer than him. So it was always there in his life. He was a very, very special man. And I think these books reflect that. But they can say it a hell of a lot better than I can. I'm waffling on, I can hear myself. I hope I'm making some sense. But as I said, I'm making notes, and I'm going to come back eventually, in a few days or weeks, and do another video talking about what's in these books, because they just describe how great a phenomenon Elvis was, what a great person he was, not just an entertainer, but there's a reason why so many people love him. How can we love an entertainer the way we do? He's not just an entertainer. He was somebody pretty wonderful. Anyway, I won't go on any further because I'm just getting worse, falling over my words. But yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm doing at the moment with these books. I'm reading them, making notes, and I'll be back to talk about them in depth eventually. Bye for now.